Hi again, Steve Stumbras, Purple Cow Organics. Thanks for tuning back in. Over the years, we've been asked to be in a wide range of trials. There's lab trials, field trials, third-party research. And corn is often the crop that is used when people are compiling trial data. So what I wanted to do today is to assemble information from a number of the trials that we've been a part of. And we want to look at it from a yield standpoint, because that's usually the number one metric that growers use when they're computing return on investment, but also from a nutrient density standpoint, because there are a couple of additional ways that we can help contribute to the grower's bottom line that are related to nutrient density. So here we go. So the first trial that I wanted to share was this 3-year effort by a large agribusiness company to find a biological they could recommend for their liquid starter. In the end, 16 bushels per acre is the combination of CX1 and activator as the carbon source. But here, $19.65 as an input cost with a revenue of $112, it's about a 470% return on investment. With a similar bushel per acre increase, I like highlighting this field trial for a couple of reasons. Number one, there's a group of high yield corn competition growers that will tell you if there's a 3-day lag in germination, it can mean a 16% yield decline. A 6-day lag can mean a yield decline of up to 25%. In fact, they'll tell you that anything out of the ground after day 4 should be treated as a weed. Now, this highlights, I think, the importance of good equipment, consistent planting depth, but it also highlights the importance of a product like CX1 to help germination and emergence. Here you see the consistency of these cobs compared to the untreated area. And again, the CX1 area, the tip fill is quite different than the area where you didn't have the biology at planting. Here, the combine report shows just what that return on investment meant for the grower, about $120 per acre or $12,000 for every 100 acre they planted. But we often talk about the other ways we can contribute to the grower's bottom line, the other ways beyond just yield. And the interesting thing, I believe, with that corn that was on that board, when you tested it for nutrient density, the corn had 15% higher protein levels. That's the corn that was planted with CX1, had 15% higher protein levels, 7% higher methionine. And again, if you're a livestock producer working on average daily gain, if you're a poultry producer, this conversation about minerals, microbes, and a catalyst to produce a better quality crop can mean additional profitability for the grower. And finally, today, I wanted to share some data from a trial done last year. It was spearheaded by our friends over at QLF. It was Quality Liquid Feeds. It was their goal to assemble a wide range of industry inputs and compare them for efficacy. This was a pretty well-run trial, very comprehensive trial. There were 30 different treatments. 22 of them featured an in-furrow application and a side dress pass. The data that I've assembled in the next few slides, what I've done is pulled all of the treatments that just included an in-furrow only application. The participants, Quality Liquid Feed, Agri Research has a limited species biological from Florida. Pacific Grow has a sea mineral input from the West Coast. There is a liquid nitrogen product that's a poultry manure product, and then CX1. Really well, high productive field. There was 4,000 pounds of granular fertilizer put down in advance of the in-furrow treatments. So getting into the data, there was a water-only treatment, which I think is an important treatment in any field trial. Next, you have a treatment that was carbon only. In this column, you're going to have the yield over baseline, associated revenue, estimated cost, and then net to the grower. When you added a little bit of a limited species biological to the carbon, you can see the increases are minimal, a little bit of an expense increase. So to the grower, actually just a little bit less in that case. 5 gallons of carbon and 5 gallons of the sea mineral. Again, a little increase in revenue, but with the associated expense doesn't really turn out in the grower's best interest. 5 gallons of the TerraFed and 5 gallons of the liquid nitrogen product. I think this is an area where growers are starting to get interested. Here you have an invest one, get two back scenario. I think that's a return on investment that growers are looking for. 7 gallons of TerraFed and 3 gallons of CX1. Here you have a nice increase in revenue costs, and you can see the net return on investment. But of all the treatments in the trial that were only an in-furrow only application, 5 gallons of TerraFed and 5 gallons of CX1, you can see the 23.1 increase in bushels over the baseline numbers. Not only was it the highest revenue producer, but it was also the most cost effective for the grower. So that's a nice in-furrow treatment as it relates to return on investment. Interestingly enough, I mentioned there were 22 other treatments. The highest performing treatment, tied at the top for the highest performing treatment, was this same recipe, this treatment of 5 gallons of TerraFed and 5 gallons of CX1 when applied not only in furrow, but with a second side dress pass as well. So those are pretty impressive numbers. The individual that was running that program is a big fan of using high quality fertility, pretty robust fertility inputs there. There was 4,000 pounds of poultry litter applied to that field before any of the liquid inputs were applied. And I think that's important to know, because biology can't do something without nothing, right? Biology needs minerals and fertility to maximize the benefits to the grower. But we see again and again that biology can increase yields. That's always the number one metric for grower profitability, but it can increase nutrient density, which can mean better test weights, moisture. We haven't even yet gotten into the conversations about vomitoxins and crop resiliency. But the point is that yield is always going to be the number one driver as it relates to return on investment. But when you look at what biology and minerals can do together, when you have carbon, biology, and minerals in the mix, there are a lot of additional ways that we can help contribute to the grower's bottom line. So thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you being here.